author dashing through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases. Turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Songs singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. just a little bit more delayed than I was expecting. All right, so I'm played around yesterday with my cam and with the screen. And I thought, well, let me lower it, see if I can get an angle that's a little bit better and so it looks better. But what happened when I dropped my camera or my screen and camera down, it looked like I was looking down, like I was not looking at the camera at all because I was looking down because it would be here. So the camera's coming here and I'm looking down. It didn't look at me. So I put it back up. I still got to figure out, I need to cover up that row of lights right there at the top. I don't like that. Do not like it. I do not. But that is my problem. I don't know if it bothers anyone else. So. Wabi Sabi J, hello and happy Thursday. It is a beautiful day. Be epic. Oh, I like that. Be epic. What a good call. Like we should be epic. Like, why not? Indeed, why not be epic? So, I don't know if anybody else has a wireless mouse, but my wireless mouse, which I've had for a few years, would not stay connected. And as I was looking things up to see what would be potential causes for why it's not staying connected, it said perhaps it's a firmware, so update it. Okay, great. So I update the firmware, but it won't stay connected long enough to actually update the firmware. So I update the firmware on the dongle, and then I got to plug it in, and I couldn't figure out how do I plug in my mouse. Like, my mouse is wireless. What do you mean plug it in? And then it says plug in the USB that came with it. I'm like, I don't remember any USB coming with it. So anyway, I had to go and find. Can I reach it on screen? No. Oh wait. I can. So I had to go find a USB cable to be able to fit in there. I actually had to cut the sides of that to be able to make it fit in there. So I got the firmware updated, but it won't work wirelessly now. But at least I got my mouse back. And I'm not really care that much about it being wireless or not. It's wired, my keyboard's wired. I'm not going anywhere. It's probably fine. It also make it more inconvenient when I take it down, with the laptop on the road. But yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. Getting the perfect angle is hard. I know. I mean, I like the angle a little bit, the way it is, but it could be better. You have a Logitech wireless. It's not always fun to have. Yeah, I got this one like on sale. It was ridiculous. It was over 50% off when I was looking for a mouse, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get a gaming mouse. Now, it should allow me to have all kinds of features on it if I was using it to play games with. I don't do that. Like, I plug in the controller. I'm a controller guy. I'm not playing off the keyboard and mouse. That's just not going to be a thing. So, Doki Doki Bible Club. Doki Doki Bible Club. Welcome in. Hey, how you doing? How'd you find us? Love to have you here. All right. So enough chit chat already. Wow, you guys are. I mean, I don't always like focus on the numbers because it really doesn't matter. On some level, I'm here for the people that are here. It was like, wow, that's pretty quick to get my count up to, already double digits of people hanging out here. So that's kind of fun. You just redid your stream space and can say getting right kind of angles is fun. Yeah. I mean, I really do like the angle that I have here with the hats. I mean, that took a bit. And then, I'll just move in the background. I mean, I've got stuff on the door so that if I'm out of the way, you can see it. And then I've got stuff on the other door because that's there. And then the bookshelf, and then eventually I'll probably get something on this board here. But right now it's just blank. That'll be one of those things. Like, I do have postcards from a streamer or two. And maybe that's it. Maybe I could post postcards on here if people send me postcards or Christmas cards or things like that. Anyway, hey, Spartans of Gaming, good to see you. You got a wireless MMO mouse, but you had to plug in 90% of the time because it had too much input lag for the games you play. Yeah, I could see that. And this was like, I one of the things that also said it could be like, would be interference with whatever signal it was. And I'm like, I don't think I added anything new that would be, or changed anything that would be interfering with the signal. But like I said, it's at least 3 years old, so maybe it's just at the end of its life. Doki, you're good, thanks. You? Yeah, I'm doing great. You already followed the church digital, so it was just a matter of time. Oh, okay. Okay. So you must have, on one of the podcasts, come over with one of the guests, or have you been over in the church digital itself, with the community there? Because I don't recognize that name. You're getting an awkward stutter? Oh, no. Well, I've got one of those, like, awkward, well, things that you do. Like, I will just end up, like, you know, sucking on my teeth or whatever that I'm not always conscious of, and will mix up my ends and some other things when I'm saying things I don't fully pronounce well, and that's a little annoying. And, you know, I wondered if it was like a remnant of COVID, but I don't know. I talked with my doctor about it. He didn't seem to be concerned about it. My wife is much more concerned about it than my doctor. So we'll be sitting there on the couch watching TV or a movie, and she'll say, "You're doing it." And I have noticed that the more caffeine I have, by the way, I have caffeine today. It's Earl Grey all day, baby. Which I might actually be the end of my Earl Grey. I think it is. I think I'm out of Earl Grey. I just realized that. Anyway, when I have caffeine, the more caffeine I have, the more I do it. So, yeah, your wife does something similar. Yeah. You know, my concern was, is it something more serious? My doctor did not think it was. So, anyway, all right, hey, it's connected today. I didn't have to connect it. Cool. So those that are new here, if you've never been here, this is the schedule. Oh, by the way, you know what? Okay. Okay, I gotta put a fly. Let me get this up here. I don't think I added it. Let me look. Okay, so I added a couple of things there, so let me just flip through these to get to the right one. Okay. Oops. Apparently I don't want to push stop. Well, let's hit refresh. Okay. Pause is what I apparently need to do. So, I talked about it a few times, but I haven't talked about it in a lot of detail. So I'm with the Church Digital. We have a course that we have, a cohort. It's not so much really about, hey, here's some stuff to learn. It is, let's think about what does it mean to be a digital missionary. Let's have conversations about what that is, and let's help you develop what you are doing wherever you are doing it to fully be an online intentional missionary, whatever you're doing. So if you're here and I have people that are, you're watching the VODs, you're hanging out and you're not Christian, you can just ignore this. That's fine. But if you are saying, yeah, I want to be salt and light and I want to learn how to do this and I want to think through, what does a missionary do? If a missionary was going to a foreign country, how would they think through that? What would be the things they would learn and apply, all of those things. So we have a course, and it's probably like you're already doing things. Let's help you think through this and help you develop what you're doing in an intentional way. So, going to be doing that course, Equipping Digital Missionaries. Do I have the command on this channel? Let me see. I do. So you can go sign up there, thechurch.digital/EDM. And the course is going to be Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern starting next week. I've just been so busy in the last 2 weeks. I didn't get the word out about it, but you still can sign up. If you miss a week or two, don't worry about it. It still would be great if you're able to join me for that. So it will be Tuesdays at 10 a.m. I also have another thing that has come up on Tuesdays. So starting in September, I will not be streaming on Tuesday mornings. I have conflicts that I need to do ministry during my regular stream time. It'll be short-lived. We'll return later. So I think what we will do is shift Torah Tuesday to Torah Thursday. I think that's what we'll do. And we'll keep going in Deuteronomy because I want to finish Deuteronomy. We're at Deuteronomy 32. So this might be we'll put aside Transform Thursday for a while, and we'll be where will the course be held? Papstio, I will get you the info on that. I'm not certain. I gave you the link because Papstio signed up, by the way. I gave you a link to where the course material is. I'm trying to clarify. It might be a Google Meet is where we will meet. So we'll have to figure out. Oh, Spartan, I missed your comment earlier. You were hospitalized when you had COVID, so everything even started to get kind of cough and anything. She's getting worried. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. You were in the hospital. So, or I think I remember that, and not doing well there for a while. So I can understand okay, you're getting sick, the worry about that. That makes sense. Artsy, welcome in. So I don't know, like we're shifting. So we've done it in Google Meets. We've done it in Discord before. And the material has been in Discord and it's been in WhatsApp. And now we have a platform for the course material to be followed through, which you're signed up for. So I'll get you the info. I'm trying to clarify some stuff there. Make sure I'm all good on how we're doing it. I think it'll be Google Meet, and I'll send you the link and all of that stuff. But we'll get that update. So anyway, if anyone is interested in that, that's going to change my schedule. So Tuesdays, I will not be here. I've thought about maybe that means I'll start doing a Saturday or a Sunday. I haven't made up my mind on that. So by the time we get to the end of next week, I should have info or ideas about that. I will be starting a podcast with those people that are in Reach Conference. So if you are connected with Reach Conference, it's going to be called Red, Yellow, Green. And I'm just calling it podcast for lack of whatever. Red, Yellow, Green. So we're going to be just chatting about what's really going on in life. So what's going good? What are some cautions? What is just, it's a red light. Like it's got to be fixed. It's got to be changed. You got to do a full stop there. And that'll be second and fourth Wednesday of the month from 4 to 6 p.m. So that's the plan on that. Maybe if it goes well, I'll do it every week. I want to do it more than once a month because once a month feels like it's not enough time to get together and do that. And I don't know if we do it every week unless I get a whole bunch of guests that say, hey, I'll do the first of the month, somebody else do the second, somebody do the third, somebody do the fourth. I would love that if I'm able to get that established that way. But everyone's schedule may not work to be there. So there's some stuff that I've got going on, and then I'll just let the regular stuff roll through on all the stuff with Reach Conference and the Church Digital Conference. So, hey, thank you for clipping info on the course there, Spartan. I appreciate that. Okay, so, and I'm trying something new here, so I don't know, like, my titles have never been creative. I've decided that this year I need to spend some time and effort and energy in trying to create more creative titles. So I'm trying to use AI to do that. Part of the thing is I don't go read the passage we're going to read and then come read it on screen. No, I want to read it fresh on screen. So that's where it's like, I'm not going and looking at it so that I can make titles. That's part of the thing. Like after I study, for instance, when I'm making sermon titles, I make the sermon title based on something as I begin my study, and then I might actually, when I get to this, by the time I get to the end of the sermon, it's different, but I've already picked a title, so I don't spend more time working on it. So, just trying something new. So, let's look at our, come on, there we go. Our focus is sabbaticals. So if you don't know what a sabbatical is, a sabbatical is coming off of the idea of Sabbath. So Sabbath is rest, and a Sabbath year, remember you're supposed to every 7 years give the land rest and have a Sabbath rest for the year. So based on that idea, in ministry, and then in other places, other fields have this too. Academic world has this. I'm not sure every field has this because we get so consumed with making money, but there's the idea that you should take time off to rest and refresh and rejuvenate. So part of a Sabbath is going to be, or sabbatical is going to be focused on resting and stopping work so that you can be refreshed to come back. A part of a sabbatical is also engaging in some learning, and part of it's going to be engaging in some spiritual practices. So there's like 3 different areas that a lot of sabbaticals will have. I've never actually had an intentional sabbatical. I have tried to plan them twice. And then, like, I was planning one to go in 2020, and then COVID happened. And so the sabbatical did not take place. And then I didn't stay at the church. So on some level, I had parts of a sabbatical of unemployment, but that was an intentional rest. So it's not quite the same. But what I'm looking at is churches that have volunteers. How do you think about doing a sabbatical? If you are a content creator, streamer, how do you do a sabbatical? What could you do in regards to that? And or volunteers. Should volunteers have sabbaticals? Now, sometimes if you are in a physical church, you have the seasons of the calendar year that correspond with what happens in the school year. So you start in the fall. This is at least in the U.S. You start in the fall when school starts. If you're other half of the world, it might be a different time of the year. But when school starts, you go into certain seasons of things, and then when the school ends in the spring, coming into summer, then you stop and you ramp down and you don't have things. So there is a level at which in a church you often have a rest over the summer with your volunteers. There's less things going on, and then on other people that have ongoing positions where they might be worship leaders, team, tech team, nursery team, those kinds of things. You usually have teams that rotate on a weekly, monthly basis. So you're not constantly always working week in and week out. So how do you build those rhythms in if you're a digital church that doesn't take breaks, that doesn't take time off, that just continues year-round with all the things you do? Because you're not following those rhythms because you're global and they don't always match and make sense. So how do you give your volunteers rest so they don't burn out? How do you intentionally do that? So that's what I'm trying to explore and look into that. So just giving you a background on that. So if anyone has actually done a sabbatical, let me know. Or if your pastor at your church has done one, or someone in the academic field, they might do one. If you have any info on that, share it. I'd love to hear. Okay, so we did go, and I've still got my tabs up here for looking at corporate lament, and I liked some of this stuff, but I didn't fully find everything that I wanted. So let me... resources for sabbaticals. I'm going to say, I'm not expecting to find this. Volunteer sabbatical. Let's see what we get. Okay. For those looking to take a volunteer sabbatical, there are several resources available to help you execute the experience. Here are the options to consider. Moving Worlds Institute offers a sabbatical program that allows you to volunteer your skills internationally while gaining global experience and building new skills. Okay, that's not quite what I'm looking for, but that's super cool. Ocean to Earth Volunteers provides a career break or sabbatical opportunity to volunteer in animal Conservation projects. Okay, no, not what I'm looking. So this is going in a different direction. Volunteering on a sabbatical. I like that idea. Not what I'm looking for. Okay, offers employee and manager sabbatical toolkits, coaching packages, and self-guided sabbatical programs to support individuals and organizations through a sabbatical journey. That is more in line with what I'm looking for. So let's open the link in a new tab. Sabbatical, a platform for cross-border volunteers that connects volunteers, nonprofits, and employers with various activities, including education, integration, and animal welfare. These resources can help find suitable sabbatical program that align with your career and personal interests. Not entirely what I'm looking for. Sabbatical program that helps you see the world. I like that idea. A great volunteer opportunity, help end trafficking. Oh, that sounds like a good thing, but not what I'm looking for. Christian mission trips, opportunities for volunteers. No, I won't. Let's go, resources for nonprofit. Okay, nonprofit board resources, nonprofit guidance, best practices, insights. Center for Nonprofit Advancements offer a collection of resources to help nonprofits implement sabbatical seriously, including case studies and templates. Okay, that looks like that might be helpful. DIY Sabbatical Guide. Provide a comprehensive guide for nonprofits to create their own sabbatical. Oh, okay, this is just the policies, though. Darn. And case studies. Okay, that still might be helpful. Forbes discusses the importance of sabbaticals in the nonprofit sector and offers insights on how to make the case for rest. Okay, I like that. Might be how to make the case for it. So how can you talk to your volunteers about it? The Nonprofit Fixer, highlighting the benefits of sabbaticals for nonprofit leaders and staff, emphasizing the need to organize and adapt sabbatical policies. The Rest of Our Lives curates a list of sabbatical planning resources. Okay, that sounds good. These might be helpful. I'm looking like I might find more than I want. What I'm looking for, we got ads coming in. So what I'm looking for is how to teach in your church to have your volunteers learn what a sabbatical is, have instructions on how to take a sabbatical, and how to be able to go and do those things. So it's a teaching piece to teach and implement within a digital church how to have volunteers take sabbaticals and do all of that. So how can you teach around it? How can you lean into that so that your volunteers don't get burned out in your digital church? Because you often have very few volunteers. Samarella, welcome in. Welcome in. We do have ads coming, so let's take a look at the fish today. And I saw a beautiful sunrise this morning. Oh, you know what? I need to knock the water off of the shade there. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. So those of you who are here, yep.
Dapper man with Saxon hand plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. With his cam he shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on the screen.
Oh, Sam, you moved in with Lena.
Watch the flow.
That's good. That's good. That's cool. Spartan, you technically took a sabbatical from content creation at the end of last year and through the beginning of this year. Yeah. My primary focus is not to start with content creators, because I think there's some other things that need to be considered as far as, you know, your community and when you take time off and people coming back, because it's different in content creation than it is in other areas. So, by the way, if you didn't see, I just went out and shook the water off of the sunshade there over the pond, because it was hanging quite low. We had rain overnight. That's my new shade and the new setup, and might need to add a hole or something for that water to drain, because otherwise it's going to weigh it down, and I don't like that thought. So I know I could probably just, you know, go to AI, ask it to tell me and all of this, but I'm not looking for it to create it. I'm looking to find people that already have and have implemented it, because I want to point people to experts who are doing it, not just generate from scratch something that you could do. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Sabbaticals are a strategy, not a perk. That sounds good as well. Microsoft Word DIY sabbatical guide. Okay, let's see what the first one is. Rachel off duty. 80 unique sabbatical ideas to make the most of your career break. Okay. That might not be what I'm looking for. Sam, she keeps asking me what's going on, but you don't really want to talk about it. You haven't moved in with her before when she... Oh, you haven't? Yeah, moved in with her before when she asked me multiple times. And this is all of a sudden she feels like something is not right, which is, but you don't want to talk about it, and you don't know how long you're going to hide it from her. Well, Sam, I don't know if this works. Just say, hey, I'm not ready to talk about it, and when I am, I'll let you know. You know, if she's friends, I think she'll understand. Just say, it's hard to talk about. I'm not ready to, but I will let you know at some point. Might be a way to approach it. I was wondering, I listen to a lot of odd podcasts out there, and one of them that I listen to is talking about the spiritual realm in relation to what the occult does and what is biblical, and where there might be overlap in the reality of the Bible and then what people are doing in the world or people have practiced. So it's kind of edgy in that regard. But as they were talking about the spiritual realm, one of the things they were talking about in there was places that may have been where occult practices were taking place, and that the spirit realm might harass people in some way and how that manifests itself. So I was just thinking, Sam, I did not know if there was any of those things that might be around where you live. And maybe that's contributing to some things that have been going on for you. I'm not saying I think that is. I just was like going, I don't know. The way they were talking about things, that seems really real. It's not been my experience, so I don't know how to. But anyway, you don't know about her, Pastor. If something is wrong with me, two people that'll know it right away is your sister and her, and some way or the other they'll find out. Your sister already knows, but Lena doesn't know much about what's going on. Yeah, I know that she'll know that something's off. She already does. What I was saying is that if you're not ready to talk, maybe just telling her you're not ready to talk about it yet and say, you're right, there is something. I just don't want to talk about it right now, or I don't want to talk about it yet. Might get you to not have to be forced to talk about it right away. That was my thought. Okay. So this is 80 unique sabbatical ideas to make the most of your break. I don't think this is what I'm looking for. Personal development. That's what I was talking about. Learn a new language. Oh, that's a cool idea. You know what? I love that idea. I love that idea. That might be like, if I do a sabbatical, I was actually, you know, as I'm thinking about this, I think I need to plan for a sabbatical, and it would be a sabbatical from the work I'm doing online, sabbatical from what I'm doing as a streamer. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. That'd be cool. Comfy Hobbit, good morning. So I might be developing this for another church, but then in the same process, figuring this out for myself. Sam, you just feel bad hiding things from her, though, but also can't talk about it. You're just torn. Yeah. And that's where I'm saying is, if you're saying I'm not ready to talk about it, you're not necessarily hiding it and saying, yeah, there is something, but just give me time and I'll tell you when I'm ready. Hopefully she would be open to that. Then you're not hiding it. You're asking for permission to wait to share it. Complete a challenge, volunteer for an org, already do that. Explore a new skill. And now you're wanting me to, you got to add on top of an ad. All right. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. So we're nix that. Sabbaticals are a strategy, not a perk. I love this thought. A comprehensive look at what we've learned featured Taylor's firsthand sabbatical story, a look at GEO's organizational policy. Oh yeah, you understand, but the question is, how long can you do that? I don't know the answer to that, because I don't know when you'll be ready to share, and maybe you'll still share before you're ready, but maybe you'll be more ready than today if it's a week, you know, that you're able to wait. Maybe you're more confident because of the fear being subsided. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, maybe she would give you even a few days, and if that's helpful. Insight for leaders from Bread for the City, national research tools and action steps. Ooh, that sounds interesting. DIY sabbatical policy guide, funder's guide to sabbatical. Ooh, that might be helpful. Miriam's kitchen sabbatical policy, the sabbaticalproject.org. Oh, I definitely got to open that one up. Pre-sabbatical survey template, post-sabbatical survey. I love that. Oh my goodness, love that. Interview, why I took a sabbatical. Research and insight, Harvard Business, the case for sabbaticals 2025. Oh wow, this is like spot on, top of the funnel. Good stuff. Trust, rest, and joy. Oh, I like that. So that's from Stanford. Share your story or policy. Submit your story or policy. Stay connected. I'm definitely finding some stuff I need to explore. If anyone has questions like, okay, I'm not understanding what a sabbatical is or all of that stuff, you know, ask questions. Like I said, share if you or your pastor or someone you know. Permission for the blank of a lifetime, the experience, the journey, the adventure, we've done the research. It's time for you to do yours. Discover your sabbatical style. Take the free quiz. 4 things we know are true. Sabbaticals are peak life experience. Oh, TED Talk here. I like that. Sabbaticals help conquer burnout. This is the focus of why I'm exploring this, is working with churches that have volunteers and their volunteers are having burnout. One church in particular had multi-volunteer pastoral staff, and now they have lost the multi-volunteer pastoral staff and have not recovered in the last 2-3 years since that change happened. And then they've been burning out their other non-pastoral volunteers, so they're losing those. And they're like, we need to change our system and help people. So isn't it like a break, or like I'm going on a somewhat fast? There's different aspects of what a sabbatical is. Most sabbaticals aren't by choice. In fact, 2/3 of sabbatical takers are thrust into their time off by work or personal crisis, the death of a loved one, a toxic relationship at work or at home, job termination, or personal health issues. The impact of this dynamic is a vicious cycle. It takes longer to disconnect and heal before they can truly reap the benefits of time off. So yeah, I'm not counting you get laid off, you lose your job, you get fired as a sabbatical. I mean, it's not working. It's unemployment. It's not a sabbatical. Sabbaticals spark profound positive change. Our research uncovered the sabbaticals provide a safe space to heal. That's part of what we want. Explore, create, and make changes. So, yeah, there is getting rest from burnout. There is getting rejuvenation to go back and enjoy what you're doing. There is levels of learning something that you can do. And there are spiritual journeys that you can go on. I was planning doing some education, going over to Israel, doing a set of courses for a month or so, and then doing exploration in the Holy Land for a month or so. I was beginning to plan it out, and then COVID, and then it didn't happen. So there's some testimonies. Sabbatical benefits everyone. Ready to start your journey, get inspired, get started, get involved. Okay. Here's some success stories. Field guide. Start the quiz. I might need to do that later. All right, so this one I am starring because I really like this. This one is definitely will take some more diving into. First, I just want to keep looking at what I've got on the first go around of the search. Ooh! Do it yourself sabbatical guide for nonprofits with sample policies. Provide for a successful executive, director, or CEO sabbatical. I'm not looking for CEO. 3 to 6 months prior, 0 to 3 months prior. This still might be good because it might be something that, like, for the pastors to take sabbaticals. Lurk School Run, thank you, Papsio. Your return to work, life after sabbaticals, sample sabbatical policies. Have worked for POV for a minimum of 8 years full-time or 10 years part-time. That's going to be a hard thing. That might be a different thing. This is going to be a paid sabbatical approach, would be this. And so if you're volunteer, I don't think this makes sense. And I think some of the policies that I've seen is you need to, 7 years is a good recommendation that I've seen, but also you get 1 week of paid sabbatical for every week you've worked at the organization is the way I've seen it. So if you worked there 7 years, you would get 7 weeks. Now, you could probably run your vacation next to that and take more time, kind of a thing. Okay, so I'm going to star this one. I like it. Going to get rid of the Microsoft Word part on the beginning of there. Sabbatical guide. Save that one. Let's go on to this. Why every nonprofit should offer sabbaticals and how to make it happen. I wonder, I'm just thinking out loud here. I wonder if there are Lilly grants, and there's probably other organizations as well. I'm wondering if there might be like a Lilly grant. They give grants to nonprofits to be able to help sabbaticals. I bet there is. Several foundations and programs offer grants to support sabbaticals for nonprofit leaders. Dufree, the Dufree sabbatical program has been in operation, providing up to $75,000 to nonprofit leaders in Los Angeles. This funding is designed to allow leaders to take a minimum of 3 months off to recharge, with a portion allocated to support interim leadership during their absence. Over 100 sabbaticals have been awarded. That's cool. The Healing Trust organization funds sabbaticals for nonprofit CEOs and executive directors, emphasizing the importance of leaders' well-being. Okay. So there are. So I don't have to go answer that right now, but okay. We'll move back to Forbes. Sabbaticals and nonprofits. The idea of sabbaticals, extended periods of leave, is still quite rare in the nonprofit sector. An oft-cited 2019 survey from the Society of Human Resource Management shows that 11% of responding organizations offered unpaid sabbaticals and only 5% offered paid sabbaticals. So that's like 15%. Romans, welcome in, friend. We are exploring the idea of sabbaticals, and specifically what I'm trying to find is how to help a digital church have a culture of sabbaticals so that their volunteers do not get burned out, but know how to prepare and take the time off to get rest, to get spiritual growth, to do other things and take a break from volunteering in the organization. So that's what I'm looking at. Why every nonprofit should have an extended leave policy, create opportunities for cross-training and successful planning, boost productivity and innovation. I think that's another thing too. When you are constantly stuck in the process of this is what I have to do today and this is what has to be done, like the monotony of Sunday is coming and I got to preach. I don't get creative if all I have to think about is next week. It becomes that repetition there. Sounds like it would pair perfectly with a succession plan. Oh, yeah, it could. Absolutely. But I think part of the thing is when you're trying to create something yourself, somebody else already done it. That's what I'm trying to spend some time looking at. Making the affordable case for sabbaticals. Understanding the turnover cost. Yeah, here's a reason to do it. Like, this is just a great thing. Think about the time and energy of, I'm just going to pick on pastors for a minute. If a pastor leaves your church because they're burned out and goes to another church, the time and energy and cost it takes to go through and find a new pastor and bring a new pastor in and all of that stuff would have been cheaper to invest in your pastor by giving them time off to get spiritually rejuvenated, to find rest, to get restored, to learn and grow, and then come back refreshed. That would be a smaller cost. Build the leave into the fringe rates. Prioritize organizational values. Okay. This is decent, but this isn't as exciting as some of the other stuff we found so far. But this is an argument of why. I'm not so interested in the why. I'm more interested in the how. Romans, you mean easier to have a sabbatical program if you have trained other leaders to fill the role temporarily? Oh, right. Yeah, and I'm more specifically looking at, churches have volunteers and the volunteers get burned out in digital spaces because they don't have a natural rhythm of taking time off for the summer that physical churches usually have. So I'm going to ditch that one. I don't think that's good. Join the mailing list. I don't even know what you have. Why would I join the mailing list? What are we reading about sabbaticals? Spoiler alert, research shows they rule. Okay. Curated list of resources. Sabbatical grant pilot, evaluation results, first of a kind sabbatical grant program. Oh, yep. Cool. The state of sabbaticals in the Jewish nonprofit sector. Okay, is this all Jewish here? Can everyone take a sabbatical? We all need rest. Creative disruption, sabbaticals for capacity building and leadership development in the nonprofit sector. From creative disruption, the system to system change, a 20-year retrospective of the Do Free sabbatical program, which I found earlier. The Sabbatical Project, we found them. Okay, gonna mark this one. Rest for Lives, learn, sabbatical. Okay, this one's definitely good. Bookmarking that. So this does look like it is perhaps focused from a Jewish perspective, which I'm all open to. We'll come back and look at more things. I don't want to keep clicking more things open till I read what I've got. Did we already do this one? Yep, we already did this one. So I found this one twice. Okay. Oh, and that's it. That's it. Okay. All right, so let's just, okay, so we got a break coming in a minute. We will then go look at Sabbath for a minute, and we'll explore that in the Word and talk about the whole idea of why should we have rest? What is it about? Growing list of sabbatical resources. Rest equals hope. Ooh, tell me more. Below, you'll find a growing list of sabbatical planning resources, things to read when you're researching for a little inspiration, as well as sabbatical consults coach that R&R has thoroughly curated. If a sabbatical is in your future, the right time to start is at least 6 months in advance. Research shows that starting your planning early will set up the break for success. If you want a quick pass, we recommend beginning with Compass Point checklist and start at the 6 months out list. Sabbatical planning to spark inspiration. Research shows sabbatical funders. Oh, this is definitely a bookmark this. Coach and consultants. I don't think that's what nonprofits are going to be able to do with the way that I'm looking at this. Yeah, rabbi. Okay. I definitely like that. Let's go back to this first one. Okay, we got ads coming in. When we come back, we'll go look up some biblical passages around Sabbaths and Sabbath rest.
2025. You better be grabbing your tickets as soon as possible. For the gamers, the video game building has over 10 TV and console combination stations with Smash tourneys. VR folks are going to have a Beat Saber tourney. There's going to be PC and game demos, arcade machines that are all free to play, a retro arcade, and an optional bring your own computer PC LAN for the PC folks. For the tabletop gamers, there's going to be a 50-person mega Dungeons & Dragons one-shot. Lots of tabletop space for all of the board games, and there's going to be room for the trading card gamers. If you want to bring your Magic cards, bring your Pokemon cards, battle it out, let's go. We're calling all the cosplayers in the group also. There's going to be a 360-degree photo shoot, a daily team shoot, and daily winners. And beyond that, there's going to be awesome game shows so the audience can be called in to win real prizes, content creator training events, industry talks, and more. So make sure you get your tickets to ReachConf 2025 today.
You know what it means to do ministry. You also know what it means to be a gamer. And you know what it means to try to share Jesus in that space. I mean, you're doing it. You're in the lobbies, you're on Discord, you're in game chats, you're trying to be encouraging in your live stream chat. You're trying to bring hope into that stream. You're praying for the person behind the handle. Gaming might be the medium, but discipleship is the true mission, and you feel like you're doing this by yourself. But imagine you weren't doing it alone. You've got backup. Imagine you were equipped and resourced and linked with others who know that discipleship can happen where you're at, where other players are gathering. Imagine that your passion is coordinated. You can have fun and be intentional on your streams. What if there was a summit built just for you, for digital missionaries in the gaming world? What if you were not just playing together, but you were actually building the kingdom together? That is DMCon, a digital space for gamers who disciple and disciples who game. If you've ever questioned whether games could be sacred ground, this is your confirmation. The digital spaces you inhabit can become communities of belonging, healing, and gospel transformation. Jesus is already in the game. Let's discover where together. You're not alone. Come and see who else is with you right now. Register for DMCon today.
Okay, so I know you usually tune in here and we're looking at the Bible, but I started taking Transform Thursdays to explore areas where I am running into churches who are asking me questions about, do you know about this? Do we have resources in this area? Can you help us figure out how to do some things? So that's what I've been taking Thursdays to take a look at. And so I do want to think, like, why would we do this? So we're going to go look up Sabbath here. And see what we find. Sorry, I've got a little gnat here. I have a gnat catcher. Can I catch the gnat? So this is a little gnat catcher. I got a few there. I do not know where these gnats have come from. We cannot get them out of the house. They keep showing up. A new batch keeps going. It's like, what are they eating? How are they breeding? But they're a nuisance. So one was just on my microphone. All right, Sabbath. He said to them, this is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is a day of Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it till morning. Come on, friend. You can fly over here. Land on this like your buddies did. Good. Ah! Okay. So we've got that. Wow. It does not show up in... A holy Sabbath. Okay. Let's look the word up. Shabbat.
Strong's H 7676. Shabbath. Shabbath.
So Sabbath, Sabbath, Day of Atonement, Sabbath year, week, produce in Sabbath year. So they're just translating as Sabbath. They're not telling us what Sabbath means. That is super weird. Not often that they just transliterate, and that's just take the Hebrew letters of the word, put them into English letters of the word, and just leave it there, like with no translation. It's weird that they left that with Sabbath that way. Let's go here. We'll be looking at Exodus 20. Oh, Exodus 16. verse are we in? 1623. So I can look it up here. I just don't usually do it in here. Sabbath 66. The technical expression is now used Shabbat Kodesh, a holy Sabbath, meaning a cessation of or for holiness for Yahweh. The rest was to be categorized by holiness. Maybe took their Sabbath when they got to that word and forgot to go back. Yeah, I mean, it's not that the translators did that. It's that the lexicon of the word meaning did that. That's the weird part. That's the weird part. Okay, let's see what the Hebrew is. If I look here, it'll give me a faster... Okay, so it's a ways through. It should start with that, where the... Oh, 16.1. That's why I'm at 16.1. I need to get to 16.23. It just started at the beginning. Okay. I've not used this, so that's why I'm a little confused. Okay, and they're just saying this word is Sabbath. And this is the word for holy. Okay, so this the Hebrew here is not helpful. It's not lexicon. Well, maybe if I do this, will that do it? Strong search, word study. Well, let's try word study. Well, that didn't help. Okay, so that doesn't tell us what I want. I wanted to look the word up and the meaning, and you're just giving me the meaning of the word Shabbat, or the meaning of the word Sabbath is Shabbat. I know this. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to have more insight into what it was talking about in regards to rest. But let me go look at this, or back here. Intensive from, cease, or rest. So Shabbat.
Strong's H.
Okay, that's why.
73.
So they're taking, they're not defining the cease or rest from the word. They're taking it from the, to keep or observe the Sabbath. So that's what I was looking for. I had to go to the root word. So they were just saying, well, you know the root word. So here's part of the reason for it. So there's the daily rhythm, or I should say weekly rhythm, of taking a day. On the seventh day, God ended his work when he had, struggling over my tongue today. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which he had created. So part of it is rest. And one of the themes throughout all of the Old Testament is trying to enter into God's rest. When we are not in relationship with God and we're just in the world and we're striving after all the stuff that we need to accomplish. I need to pay the bills. I need to do all of these things. I need to get the work done. I mean, there's my list of stuff that I was doing yesterday. You know what? Half of it is not crossed off. Half of it is started and didn't finish. So it's not even got half of it checked off. So that's what's left to work on today. So what am I going to do? I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep doing things. But you know what I also have to do? I need to have a rhythm of going, well, I'm not going to work an extra day, and I'm not going to work longer to get things done. I need rest, because if I don't rest, well, then I'm going to struggle. I'm going to be burned out. I'm going to be worn out. I'm going to be fatigued. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. So then, if we move forward. So this is the ceasing from work aspect. This is what the Lord said. What the Lord has said. Okay. Christian Gaming Guitarist is raiding with a party of 3. Welcome, raiders. Welcome in, friends. Glad to have you here. Thank you for bringing the party. And thank you for trusting your community to come over here and hang out for a little bit. Let's get a shout out. Yes, hello again, friend. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for trusting your community over here. Let's see, what were you doing? You were doing just chatting, so were you not playing any music? Were you not doing any games, just chatting? Cool. That's what I do most of the time, just chatting, and sometimes you leave it in just chatting because whatever else you're doing doesn't quite make it as fully this or fully that. So, welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you here. You played Wu Chang, but you finished up with just... Yeah. Cool. All right. Glad to have you here. Thank you for coming over. Those that do not know, I'm Flat Cap Dapper Pastor. I have hats. I have fish. We read the Bible. That is much of what happens here. There's other stuff. There's gaming. There's my silliness. There's whatever else that might happen. And who knows, voices and singing that's not great, but entertaining, I hope. Or at least amusing. So anyway, welcome in. Have a seat. This is a welcoming community. It's a safe place to be. And whether you believe what I believe or not does not matter. Whether you're a Christian or not does not matter. But we do want to love and respect one another. Make sure that this is a place where anyone can hang out, feel welcome, and express what their thoughts and beliefs are. So thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Any questions? Ask me. You vibe with my singing. You like the raid song? Yeah, the raid song, the starting songs, all that. I have friends that created all of those for me, which is fantastic. But my singing is usually changing the words to it or trying to sing scripture in the theme of. I think we were singing Brady Bunch yesterday as we were trying to read a song that was in Deuteronomy, which clearly is not the tune they would have sung it to, but you never know. You never know. So today we are looking at sabbaticals and how to think through and try to find a way for volunteers in churches, in digital churches specifically, to be able to plan, prepare, and implement a strategy to keep their people from burning out. That's the goal. That's the goal. So, all right. So we're looking at one of the first commands of this. So this is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is a time to cease from work, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Whatever you want to bake, bake today. Whatever you want to boil, boil today. Whatever is left, put aside for yourself to keep until morning. So they had a command of the manna to only take what you're going to eat for the day and don't keep any leftovers. It'll be ruined in the morning and full of maggots, and some people did it anyway, and then they learned. So now they got to be told, hey, before the seventh day, you need to prepare all your food the day before. So they put it aside until morning, just as Moses had commanded, and it did not stink, nor were there any worms in it. Moses said, "Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the area. 6 days you are to gather, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will not be any." On the 7th day, some of the people went out to gather it, but they found nothing. So the Lord said to Moses, "How long do you refuse to obey my commands and my instructions? See, because the Lord has given you Sabbath, that is why he is giving you food for 2 days on the 6th day. Each of you stay where you are. Let no one go out of his place on the 7th day." So the people rested on the 7th day. The house of Israel called its name manna. Okay, so I'm not caring about the manna part. So this is in Exodus 16. Exodus 20, we will get more instruction. So let's bump to Exodus 20. "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make any carved images." It's going to be the 4th one. Here it is. The text uses the infinitive absolute, zakar, for the commandment for the Sabbath day, which is the sign of the Sinaitic covenant. Sinai, if you will. The infinitive absolute functions in place of the emphatic imperative here. The absolute stresses the basic verbal idea of the root. Remember, the verb includes the mental activity of recalling and pondering, as well as the consequent action for such remembering. So perhaps, artsy Bible nerd, what? Okay, so the infinitive, so rather than it being an imperative command, remember, it's not about the intellectual activity. It's going to begin with a pondering of the reason why you do it, and then the practice of putting it into place of observing the Sabbath. So perhaps a nicer, or a translation to fully flush that out would be implement the Sabbath day, because you're going to have to know how to in order to do it. But I don't know if that fully does. So we have remember the Sabbath day. So, like, this is the problem that we have when we don't have this in this kind of. We have a division between intellect and action. Hebrew does not have a divide between intellect and action. So to know something is not about intellectual knowledge. It is about experience. So remembering is not about an intellectual assent. It is an implementation. So we have that problem when we translate in English because we need two things. So it'll be remember and put into place would be the nuance of what it's trying to say here. So we don't have that in English. So you kind of are going to pick one or the other, and then you're going to default to the more historic one that people are going to think about remembering. So it's not like, oh yeah, today's Sabbath. All right, done remembering it, and now let's go do work. No, because we're going to get instructions on what it means to put it into practice. So remember the Sabbath day to set it apart as holy. So actually, holy means to set apart. So the Peel infinitive construct provides the purpose of remembering the Sabbath to set it apart, to make it distinct from the other days. Verse 9 and 10 explain in part how this was to be done. To set it apart as holy taught Israel the difference between the holy and the profane. Again, like profane, it really just should be ordinary. This difference between holy and ordinary, like profane makes it sound like there's something bad with it. It's just not set apart. It's just the rest of it. The non-holy things, the non-set apart things. That there were something higher than daily life. If an Israel bent down to the ground laboring all week, the Sabbath called his attention to the heavens to pattern life after the Creator. I like that. The Sabbath called his attention to the heavens to pattern his life after the Creator. Absolutely. But the seventh, okay, for 6 days you are to labor and do all your work. As a slave, you don't get a day off. Now that you're not slaves, we're taking a day off. But the seventh is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter. Okay, so you don't work, your kids don't work. Got it. Or your male servant or your female servant. So anyone in your household, no workers are going to work on the Sabbath. Just because they might be slaves, you're not going to treat them the way the slave owners treat them in the rest of the world. They get a Sabbath too. Oh wait, and your cattle, your livestock, they get a break too. Or the resident foreigner who is in your gates. For 6 days the Lord made heavens and earth, the sea, and all that is in them. And he rested on the Sabbath day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. So the Sabbath is created after the pattern that God did. When God created, God did all of the creation and it was good. And then he rested, which was also good. So what is a good pattern for your life? To follow after the pattern that God is making, which is you work for so many days and then you cease from striving and you rely on the day to enjoy. Now, we get the whole idea that the day of Sabbath is the day for worship. That's not here in the text. It doesn't say 6 days you are to work hard and the seventh you are to worship. It doesn't say that. There isn't a segregation of worship from the rest of life. We should be worshiping on the daily, which should be a part of life. Now, we've made worship into a 1-hour service on Sunday for the most part. That wouldn't have been an ancient idea. You would have worshiped God throughout your week, throughout your day. It would have been an ongoing thing where you would be praising God's name. You might break out into a song. It might be corporate or, like if you watch all of the movies with you're going on a road trip and then people will sing, songs with family in the car, that kind of, you might do that during the day. Like we have the ability to turn on the radio and listen to music. They did not. If they wanted someone to sing, they might have performed. Like they didn't have, let's watch a movie. They had storytelling and they had singing. So at the end of your day, what might you do? Sit around eating a meal, someone telling stories, someone doing some singing, someone doing other stuff. Okay, so there we have the basis of Sabbath beginning is because God rested, therefore you should rest. Okay, so let's, we got ads coming in again in about a minute. So what do I want to do next? Let me look. Let me go look at Sabbath year. Will that give me any results? Yes. There we go. Exodus 23. That's what we want. Leviticus 25. We'll start with Exodus 23. Oh, we can just do this. Okay. This section concerns religious duties of people of God as they worship by giving thanks to God for their blessings. The principles here are God requires his people to allow the poor to share in their bounty. God requires his people to provide times of rest and refreshment for those who labor for them. God requires allegiance to himself. God requires his people to come before him in gratitude and share their bounty. God requires that his people safeguard proper worship forms. Like, God requires? I think, okay, yes. Sure, I mean, that is true, but it's more of an invitation. God invites people into a different way of life. You're being invited into this. These are the instructions. So a wise king is going to give wise instructions. God, being the ultimate wise king, is giving his people the wisest way to live. So if you want to be like your wise king, you're going to follow his instructions. It's not about him making demands and requirements. It's like, it does not add to the beauty of who God is. He demands you do this. Yeah, sure, but that leaves out the relationship. He invites you to do this because of his relationship with you. All right, let's look at some fish while we have an ad break.
Flat cat pastor rocks his tweed, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with Saxon hand plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in ponds so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may.
All right, we should be back. Looks like the sun is coming out. We had rainstorms overnight into this morning. Looks like my mom's got some clouds there. Oh, if you did not notice, the cam on the guppies, for some reason, turned itself around and is facing the koi. So there are some guppies in there as well. So I saw it wasn't a bad angle, and the koi were hanging out in there earlier, so I thought I would just leave it. Since I do have koi and guppies in the same tanks now. I'm going to have so many guppies, I don't know what to do, because the guppies are going to be prolific. So the upper tank has 3 koi, the lower one has 2. The upper tank has I don't know if it's a miniature, it's a different Plecostomus than Wywis. He is really small. If you ever see him, you'll be lucky. There's also, right there, you can see an algae eater in the lower left of the upper one there. There's an algae eater in there. He's a big algae eater. I've not seen him get that big before, so I must have enough algae to keep him satisfied. So we got 2 guys there working that tank, where Wywis handles the tank below that. All right, back to the Bible. So the people need a break. God took a break, so the break that people need is based on that. So the idea of rest means to cease striving. So you are to rest, you're to cease striving. Like you're always striving to have more. Think about the people that have almost 50 hats and they want to have more hats. Like, oh, what do? They go shopping and find hats, and they find more hats, and they can never seem to have enough hats. I mean, I don't know if you know anybody like that. The ceasing striving, like if hats are what satisfied me, hats would never satisfy me. Okay? I was satisfied when I had one hat and I wore it all the time and wore it out. I was happy when I got more. I don't need more hats. I don't find like, ooh, my life is made. I mean, I will enjoy them. I will, get excited about them. Like, I love this one. By the way. The pattern on this one is so superb. It's just awesome. It's also the lunchbox, so it's a working man's hat. I think I've been wearing this one all week now. So, anyway. So, they're coming out of slavery. They have been no breaks, overworked. They have no rest. God is going to give them rest from their work. He is going to have them cease from working and rely on God, trusting in God. Part of the whole motif of ceasing from work is to find rest. But also, if we go back to the biblical origin in creation, it is evening and morning of the first day. You start with rest before you work. You get to the end of the week and then you rest again before you start the week of work. So you rest before starting the week of work. You rest before starting the day of work. So it's a different idea than we tend to have now, is work until work is done. And if work ain't done, we keep working. And if we can't get work done, we don't rest. And we work until we're exhausted and then we sleep to recover so we can work. It's not starting from a place of rest in the way that we think about it. We think the day starts when I wake up. And that's not an ancient idea. It's not. So let's look at the 6 years. For 6 years you are to sow your land and gather its produce. But in the 7th year you must let it lie fallow and leave it alone, so that the poor of your people may eat it. So you're not going to plant in the 7th year, and you're not going to harvest. The poor will go eat whatever shows up. And what they leave, any animal in the field may eat. So the poor are going to go and harvest what they need. And then you can let your animals go eat. Just let them run free. You must do likewise with your vineyard and your olive grove. So imagine this. Could you imagine any company, any farmer today going, yeah, I'm going to harvest corn for 6 years. Year 7, I'm not going to harvest any corn. I'll just let whatever comes up come up, and anybody can go eat the corn they want. I'm not going to harvest any grapes this year. I'm just going to let whoever wants go pick them. I'm going to just let my olives do that. Why are we going to do this? For 6 days you are to do your work, but in the 7th day you must cease, in order that your ox, your donkey may rest, and that your female servant and the resident foreigner may refresh themselves. The verb yinefesh is related to the word usually translated as soul or life, so that they may have vitality, so that they may be refreshed in their soul, in their person. So why are we doing this? We are modeling the 6 years harvest and 1 year fallow from the 6 days work, 1 day rest, modeled from God created in 6 days and rested on the 7th. Pay attention to everything I have told you, and do not even mention the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. Okay, that seems weird to have that in next to that. Okay, and then we're going to have the feast. Okay, so here's what we had on the 6 days labor. Okay. Are there any other passage? Oh, we got Leviticus 25. We could go there, see if there's anything additional there. There might be the... There might be there. Also, we don't know that we do not find any evidence that they ever practiced the Sabbath rest of the year of their produce. In fact, what we see in the going into exile is the land did not have its rest. Now, is that an overstatement of an absolute that they never did it? Well, maybe they did, or maybe some did, but maybe universally as the nation, they didn't actually do it. Maybe the kings didn't let them do that. You know, the king should have let them do that and helped implement that. Okay, so we're doing Leviticus 25. The Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you enter the land that I am giving you, the land must observe a Sabbath to the Lord. So the land has to observe a Sabbath to the Lord. That's fascinating. The land is to observe it. That's put a different perspective on it. The land needs to have its rest. Your slaves need to have a rest. Your land needs to have a rest. I wonder what if here, every 7 years I did not mow my lawn. I mean, I would enjoy that. I'd probably get in trouble with the city, but what if every 7 years I didn't mow my lawn? What would that do? "6 years you may sow your field, and 6 years you may prune your vineyard and gather the produce. But in the 7th year, the land must have a Sabbath of complete rest. The Sabbath year, a Sabbath of complete rest shall be to the land." The expression Sabbath to complete rest is superlative, emphasizing the full and all-inclusive rest of the 7th year of the sabbatical cycle, a Sabbath of solemn rest. So, the focus here on the Sabbath year is for the land, but also, if I'm not sowing and I'm not reaping in the 7th year, I am also one who is resting. I am also one who is resting. So, in that regards, if I'm also one who is resting, well then, aren't I also observing the Sabbath? Am I also not doing that? I think we are. I think that's what it's supposed to be. So the focus is saying the land needs it. The land needs it. Also, like, you need the land to have a rejuvenation of the minerals and stuff that we use fertilizers to do that now. Didn't used to have that. How would you let it? You would let all of the stuff in the soil give back to the soil. That's how you would do it. And if the animals are all going to go into your field and eat whatever is left in there, the animals are going to be in the field and they're going to be contributing to fertilizing the ground. So, you know, there's that benefit of not keeping the animals out. You must not sow your field or prune your vineyard. So here is the thing. You aren't to do work. Don't go to your vineyards. Don't go to your field. Don't do work. You must not gather in the aftergrowth of your harvest. So we already had the, hey, don't go out to the fields and go through twice. If you remember that. Now the aftergrowth, so whatever grows, you're not to harvest, and you must not pick the grapes of your unpruned vines. The land must have a year of complete rest. Complete year. So not, you know, well, we gave it the early break and we'll go in afterwards when there's just some, no, nothing. Leave it. You must have a Sabbath produce of the land to eat. You and your male servant, your female servant, your hired workers, the resident foreigners who stay with you, your cattle and your wild animals that are in your land, all its produce will be for you to eat. The word produce is not in the Hebrew, but implied. The Sabbath products. A resident who stays would be a foreign person who was probably residing as another kind of laborer in the household of the landowner. The words for you are implied. Okay, this seems a little confusing. Like, okay, it sounds like you're not to go eat anything, you're not to go harvest, but this sounds like you are to go harvest. You must cut off 7 weeks of years, 7 times 7 years, and the day of the 7 weeks of years will amount in 49. You must sound loud horn blasts in the 7th month on the 10th day of the Day of Atonement. You must sound a horn in the entire land. So you must consecrate the 50th year, and you must proclaim a release in the land and all its inhabitants. The year will be a year of jubilee. Each one of you must return to his property, and each one of you must return to his clan. So, The Jubilee year, no matter if your dad sold off all the land and you've become destitute, or your grandfather lost it because of a dust bowl, the family gets to return. Whoever's had it up to this point, it's to revert back. So you have every 7 years, you're having a Sabbath for the land to be rejuvenated. After year 49, you're now going to have another year, and everyone gets their property back. So the land in year 49 and 50 will have 2 years of not having anything. We're going to get to that in just a second. So, but you're returning to the land. So no matter who owns it, it goes back to the OG family. That 50th year will be your Jubilee. You must not sow the land, harvest its aftergrowth, or pick the grapes of its unpruned vines, because the year of Jubilee, it will be holy to you. You may eat its produce from the field. So, okay, I think I'm getting this. So you can't go harvest, but you can go out to eat. You can go out to eat. So I can go walk through the field. This is what the poor would be able to do. The poor could walk through your field and eat on the land, but they couldn't harvest. That's what it is. That's what I'm confused of. You can go eat of it. You cannot gather from it. So yeah, you're hungry. It's looking good. Yeah, go eat some grapes. Go eat some of the produce, but you're not bringing it back. So you can eat stuff that's fresh. You know, do like the disciples. Grind up the kernels in your hand like this. Shuck off the husks, the chaff, and then have a bite to eat and enjoy. You can do that. Go pick an apple and eat it. You can do that. In this year of Jubilee, you must each return to your property. If you make a sale to your fellow citizen or buy from your fellow citizen, no one is to wrong his brother. You may buy it from your fellow citizen according to the number of years since the last Jubilee. You may sell it to you according to the years of produce that are left. The more years there are, the more you may make its purchase price. And the fewer there are, the less you must make its purchase price, because he is only selling you a number of years of produce. So when you're selling land, you aren't actually selling the land. So you get to, trying to think of what the name is for it. It's a certain kind of farming where you rent out the farmland to do it. So basically you're renting your field to someone else. You are renting the field to someone else for the number of years left to Jubilee. So if Jubilee was 2 years ago, I'm renting out 48 years, but I think I'm also renting out 48 years minus the other every 7 years, and I'm not going to do all that math in my head. I guess that would be 7, technically, plus 1 would be 8. So minus 8, 48. So you'd be renting 40 years. You'd be renting 40 years of produce from the land. Whatever it is. I'm renting that sharecropper. That might have been the word I was looking for. No, it's a little bit different. Anyway. I'm renting the land from you to be able to, yeah, that might be it, to get the produce off of it. I make all of the money off of it, but I only pay you for how many years it's going to be. So if it's 3 years away, I'm renting it for 3 years. T-West, my new GPU is out for delivery. Can't wait. Oh, dude. Excited for you. That sounds, yeah, that's going to be fun. No one is to oppress his fellow citizen, but you must fear your God. So why are they not doing this? Because they don't fear God. God's given us all the land. Like, we're all good here. We can do what we want. We can exploit our neighbor. I don't care if it is 3 years away. I want to get the full price for my land for 50 years. I'm not going to give it to you. And when I buy it, I'm not giving it back. You must obey my statutes and my regulations. You must be sure to keep them so that you may live securely in the land. So why? Got the stupid gnat coming at me again. Why are you to do this? Because God has given you the land. It's not your land. You are just the caretaker of the land that God has given you. So when you are doing this, you're not to exploit other people. You're not to exploit the land. It's God's land. He gave it to you. be good stewards of it. The land will give its fruit, and you may eat until you are satisfied, and you may live securely in the land. If, if you say, what will we eat in the 7th year if we don't sow and grow our produce? I will command my blessing for you in the 6th year, so that it may yield the produce for 3 years. And you may sow the 8th year and eat from the 6th year's produce. 6 years produce, old produce, until you bring in the 9th year's produce. You may eat old produce. The land must not be sold without reclaim, because the land belongs to me. See, I was telling you this. I didn't know it was coming back in. The land belongs to me, for you are foreign residents, temporary shelters with me. In all your landed property, you must provide for the right of redemption of land. So you can sell land, but Jubilee, you get it back. You get it back. Exactly. If, if your brother becomes impoverished and sells some of his property, his near redeemer is to come to you and redeem what his brother sold. If, if a man has no redeemer, but he prospers and gains enough for its redemption, he is to calculate the value of the years it was sold, refund the balance to the man to whom he had sold it, and return his property. So if you bought the land, but now I can get it back, I have someone who's gonna help me get it back in the family. I don't have to wait for Jubilee. I can buy it back. It's my right to buy it back. You don't have to say, well, I bought it for 50 years of produce and I've only got 20 done. I got 30 more years. Too bad. I got the money to pay you the 30. Here's the money for the 30. That's like a very, like, it ain't your land. You're just a caretaker of God's land. If he has not prospered enough to refund a balance to him, then what he sold will belong to the one who bought it until the Jubilee year. But it must revert in the Jubilee year to the original owner may return to, and the original owner may return to his property. So if you can't buy it back, you can still keep it until the year Jubilee, then everyone gets it back. If a man sells a residential house in a walled city, its right of redemption must extend until 1 full year from its sale. Its right of redemption must extend to a full calendar year. So selling a house inside a city is not the same as the land. So you live in Jerusalem, you sell your house in Jerusalem, you got 1 year. You got 1 year. So it's not about the land, because the land, you are renting the land to get the harvest of it. If, if it is not redeemed before the full calendar year is ended, the house in the walled city will belong without reclaim to the one who has bought it throughout his generations. It will not revert in Jubilee. So residencies are not part of Jubilee because it's where you live. So you got 1 year to get it back. You gave it up. You needed it to take care of some things. So maybe you had a bad year. You sell your house in residency so you can get some seed to sow, and you do that. You get the harvest. You sell your harvest. You get the money back. You buy your house back. You're all good. But if it takes more than a year, tough noogies. The house of villages, however, which have no walls surrounding them, must be considered as a field of land. They will have the right of redemption and must revert in Jubilee. So it's only walled cities, cities that are protected, cities that are bound, where there is no room to grow because you're inside the city. Now, obviously, you could expand a new territory and build a new wall around a new section. Get that. As soon as it's walled, it can't expand. It's confined. So cities are different. As for the cities of the Levites, the houses in the, ad starts in 40. As for the cities of the Levites, the houses in the cities which they possess, the Levites must have a perpetual right of redemption. So Levites, since they have no land, always, even after Jubilee, they can redeem houses no matter what. Whenever someone among the Levites might redeem the sale of a house, which is his property in a city, must revert in Jubilee, because the house of the cities of the Levites are the property in the midst of Israel. Moreover, the open field areas of their cities must not be sold, because this is their perpetual possession. So you can sell your house, but get it back in Jubilee, but you cannot sell your land that surrounds it as a Levite. All right, we got ads coming in. I'm going to give you the BRB screen this time. Let's watch some dancing feet.
He's got that flat cap dapper look, making waves online, spreading the word on Twitch. Pastor with a cheerful heart, no lie, preaching joy so high to the sky. He'll be right back, yes, he'll be right back. He'll be back in 2 or 3. Flat cat dapper, flat cat dapper. We'll be right back after this break. No mistake, joy they make. I'll be right back. We'll be right back in 2 or 3. Right back after this break. No mistake, joy they make. I'll be right back, yes, I'll be right back in 2 or 3.
All right. We should be back. Bum, 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 bum. I know we're going a little bit farther afield than just the whole idea of Sabbath here, but we're getting all the principles of which it's based on. So we've got God rested after working. People coming out of slavery need to rest. Foreigners among you, slaves among you, animals among you need rest every 7 years. The land needs a rest every 7 years. Jubilee, land reverts every 50 years back to the family of origin. Like, this is not the way we operate. This seems like a really beautiful system. It would be like, this is to, over 7 years, there is inequity that happens in the system. Okay? So we rebalance. Oh, sorry, not every 50 years. There's inequity that happens in society over a 50-year period of time. There's inequity that develops over 50 years of time after a generation or two, depending on how you want to count generations every 20 years. So there's 2 generations. So the shift in that happens over time, we reset the clock. Every 50 years, we reset society back to an equilibrium of the person who has now had gain and influence over this. We restore people back to a fresh start. You get the land back. Let's see what you can do. The new generation maybe can overcome what the last generation did wrong. We start over with the land. You get the land back. It goes back to the family. You get to keep working. You get to start over. I love that idea. Now, they never practiced it. So we're going to keep going with this idea. I want to just keep exploring it. I love me some Levi's. I mean, Leviticus. It's the instructions for blue jeans. No. If your brother becomes impoverished and is indebted to you. So it's not clear to whom this refers. That is probably broader than sibling, any of your kin, any of your Israelite relatives, but some English translations take it to mean fellow Israelite, countrymen, and others are ambiguous, any of your people. Okay, I don't think this means anybody that's an Israelite. I don't know that it's fully that extent because we have kinsman redeemer ideas. So it's going to be your closest relative. Okay, so it's going to be within your clan, would be my thinking on this. Maybe within your tribe, but I do not think you are expected to go beyond your tribe. Your tribe and your tribal lands are going to be the ones you are within. That's where the reverting goes back to. The reverting goes back to the tribe, to the clan. So that would be my thought here. Within your clan, for sure, maybe within your tribe. Okay. So if your brother becomes impoverished and is indebted to you, you must support him. He must live with you like a foreign resident. So you can't kick your brother to the curb because he's homeless. What? What do you mean I gotta take care of him? Why, that worthless? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he's worthless. And his hand slips with you. Strengthen, sustain him, support him. Yep. Do not take interest or profit from him. So don't profit off your family. You must fear God, and your brother must live with you. So don't take interest or profit from him. So you're not going to put your brother to work as a slave and make money off of him. You're going to take care of him. This is the whole idea here of why we have the Behor in the family. Okay, this is why one person in the family gets a double portion. That person is to care for the rest of the family. So if one person in the family is not doing well, there is one person who got a double share to begin with to care for the whole of the entire family. That goes to the oldest. The oldest is going to have, on some level, more experience than the others. That's why you would give it naturally to the older brother, because the older brother is going to have more advantage, more resources, more experience. Lucis, welcome in. Hope you're doing well, friend. So, going to take interest and profit, but you must fear God, and your brother must live with you. You been lurking? Oh, okay. Cool. You must not lend him your money at interest, and you must not sell him food for profit. I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan to be your God. If your brother becomes impoverished with regard to you, so that he sells himself to you, you must not subject him to slave service. A distinction is being made here between the status of a slave and an indentured servant. Okay. He must be with you as a hired worker, as a resident foreigner. He must serve you until the year of Jubilee. So your brother has debts, and he needs the money to pay off his debtors. So he sells himself to you. You give him the money he needs. He works for you until the year of Jubilee, and then he's released. Man, so think about this logically. Think about this logically for a minute. In order for my brother to come and work for me, I have to have some level of inheriting the land. I am probably late 20s, early 30s. Just making an assumption. My brother might be younger. So let's say my brother is 25. And it just so happens to be the year of Jubilee just happened yesterday. And he comes and sells himself to me after the year of Jubilee. He's going to be working for me till he's 75. Now, that's a long time. So, like, now, if he's 25 and it's 25 years to the Jubilee, it's only 25 years of service. So anyway, it's a get out a guarantee. That's what it is. It's a get out guarantee. I don't think it's you give him the value of the work like you did for the land. So you could maybe be released earlier. If it's 5 years worth of wages, you could just work for 5 and get out. I'm also wondering, no, I'm not going to go there. I was just thinking, Jacob sells himself for 7 years at a stretch and ends up spending 21. I was going to say if there's any connection there, but I don't see any connection there. I was just wondering out loud. Okay. But then he may go free, he and his children with him, and may return to his family and to the property of his ancestors. So part of this is he has no other place to go until the year of Jubilee. So, okay, he has to stay living with you until the year of Jubilee when he can go back to the family property that he has lost. Since the Israelites are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt, they must not be sold in a slave sale. You must not rule over them harshly, but you must fear God. So you cannot sell them outside of Israel, where they will be full permanent slaves, and you can't sell them and treat them as slaves. You treat them as indentured servants. As for your male and female slaves, who may belong to you, you may buy male and female slaves from the nations around you. Also, you may buy slaves. Okay, does it say sell? You can buy them. It doesn't say, let me see, it doesn't say anything about selling them around you. Also, you may buy slaves from the children of foreigners who reside with you and from their families that are with you, for whom they have fathered in your land. They may become your property. You may enslave them perpetually. However, as for your brothers, the Israelites, no man may rule over his brother harshly. Okay, so there is you can have perpetual slaves from foreigners who are selling themselves. If a resident foreigner who is with you prospers, and your brother becomes impoverished with regard to him, so that he sells himself to the resident foreigner who is with you, or a member of a foreigner's family, after he has sold him to retain a right of redemption, one of his brothers must redeem him, or his uncle or his cousin may redeem him, or any one of the rest of his blood relatives, his family, may redeem him. Or if, he prospers, he may redeem himself. Okay, so in other words, you get sold to a resident foreigner, you're staying in the land, nobody would buy you, you had to go that way. There's a right of redemption out of that from a foreigner. So it's got to be in the contract. This is what we're saying. It's got to be put in the contract that there's a right to redeem them out of it. He must calculate with the one who bought him the number of years from the years he sold himself to him until the Jubilee year, and the cost of the sale must correspond to the number of years according to the rate of wages a hired worker would earn, or would have earned while with him. If, if there are still many years in keeping with them, he must refund most of the cost of his purchase for his redemption. But if, if only a few years remain until the Jubilee, he must calculate for himself in keeping with the remaining years and refund it for his redemption. He must be with the one who bought him like a yearly hired worker. The one who bought him must not rule over him harshly in your sight. If, if, however, he is not redeemed in this way, he must go free in the year of Jubilee, he and his children with him, because the Israelites are my own servants. They are my servants whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So we are not going to sell you back into perpetual slavery as you had before. All right. Okay, so I don't know if there's any more passages. Let me just go look here. We got the Sabbath year. That's what we were looking at. And then we just kept going. The year of Jubilee. Sabbath offerings, not interested in them. The land enjoys its Sabbath rest at the time of desolation. until the 70th years were completed and fulfilled. So how did we calculate out how many years it was supposed to have Sabbath rest? Well, every Jubilee for 490 years would equal 70 years of Jubilee. It's 50 years, kind of like retirement? Yeah. Yeah, also the Levites working in the temple when they reached age 50 were to not be the primary workers. They were to maybe assist the primary worker. So you would start at age 20 doing the service. You would work for 30 years in the temple, and then you would be assisting and training, mentoring younger people. So, exactly. Slaves were also different in those times. Slaves were actually ones who would willingly work for you in your home for money. It's not like possessions. It was that they were willing to be under a family for a time for payment, kind of like a cleaning lady. Haha. Well, some of them were, but there are also, there's multiple types of slavery. So it's saying in this passage here, Israelites are not to be treated as property. They are to be treated as day laborer workers. You have bought their work, so you can't treat them harshly as property. But it's also saying foreigners could be treated as property. You can buy foreigners and you own them. That's what it's saying in here. So there's two levels of it. And also with foreigners, often one of the things that you would do when you conquer foreigners, rather than leave them in the land where they could later band together and revolt against you, you took them as property. You brought them into your house. It's also, so they're not, like, you took away what they had in order to make a living. So now you're providing for them off of their labor, is what you are doing. You own them, and you perpetually will own their children too. The same way, so it's chattel slavery. It really is. You didn't have to let them go in the year of Jubilee. They're foreigners. So they were treated differently than your fellow Israelite. So there definitely is that level of it, that they were not always willing to sell themselves, but sometimes you did have to sell yourselves. It would be based on the agreements that you would have. If you captured them in war, they're perpetually slaves. So there's multiple levels of slavery that's going on. These just happen to be the rules for the people of God and how that they're to do things. So. All right, I do have a meeting here in like 10 minutes, so let's find somebody to raid out. Oh, Mother Goose is on. Oh, wow, collab day with the ladies, Illumilab, Z Sarah U, and it's MEMC. Yeah, interesting. Thanks for explanation. Yeah, some people try to overplay the Old Testament slavery and say it wasn't like, you know, the what happened on the North American continent. Well, on some level, it wasn't. It wasn't going and buying people based on skin color. That part's true. But it would be foreigners, so you would treat foreigners that way. So it still has a level of that. All right. I do not see the others on. I see Z Sarah U and I see Mother Goose, but I do not see a Luby Lab or it's MEMC. So we're going to go to Mother Goose. And thank you for the Luke 10 too. All right. We'll do that and blessing, and then we'll be on our way. So, God, we're just praying for workers for the harvest. Thank you for friends. We're going to go raid some friends who are working for the harvest, who are working together, who are collaborating. God, raise up more. We need more people. We need more people to be salt and light. We're working on that. I mean, I'm going to be doing a course here to help people become digital missionaries. And so I'm just praying for you to bring more people into digital space, to be digital missionaries, to be salt and light. So pray for workers for the harvest. Pray for more people to join the course along with me. I'll be starting on Tuesday. God, may you bless that. May you multiply that, and may it be for your glory. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Let me give you the blessing. May God seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for lurks, for those that are watching the VODs, for those that chatted. I mean, everybody. We had a raid earlier. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you. We'll be back tomorrow. Monday, I will be riding bike. That will be the plan on Monday, as a bike ride. So, whoa, that's just weird. I'm gonna start the raid. My screen over there looked really weird. So anyway, Tuesdays I'm no longer going to be streaming. I am going to be doing a teaching on John 17:23 groups, my normal streaming time, and when I get done, I will be doing the course on equipping digital missionaries. So if you want more info, if you'd like to join that, if you can't make a week, I mean, DM me, sign up, let me know, holler at me, whatever. Have a blessed day, everybody.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word's so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock.